everybody. Welcome or welcome back. If you were here for episode 1, I don't know if you saw Thrasher, but this is Thrasher. I'm Heather, and this is Let's Knit About It. It is a podcast I thought I would start to have an outlet to talk about knitting and all things yarn with you guys and maybe make some new friends. For today's episode, I thought it would be fun to do a finished object fashion show. So I have a few of my finished garments that I've made since I started knitting, which was a couple of years ago. I need to check, and I think I said this in the last episode, but it's either been like 2 years or 2.5 years. Not quite 3 yet, I think, but 2 years of knitting is not that long. So I don't have a lot of finished objects, and this isn't all of them. Some of them I have gifted. So that's it, let's get started. This is a Musselburgh hat. Oh, I think I showed maybe a work in progress Musselburgh hat in the last episode. I could have not though, because there were some, I was talking for so long. There were so many whips in front of me, and I had to kind of pick which ones I wanted to talk about. So anyways, this one is finished. This was my first Musselburgh hat. I've made 2 now, and I think I have one on the needles. It's a hat that you knit into like a tube, and you fold it into itself so that it's a double knit, double fabric beanie. There are several sizes available, and you don't have to like get gauge. It's really cool. So you start and then you measure your gauge, and then you pick the size that you want based off of your gauge. You can wear it like this, or you can fold it up and wear it like this. It's just a really nice fitting hat. It just, you know, suctions right to your head. I really like it. I'm not a huge hat person because I do sweat a lot, and even when it's really cold outside, I just like gather heat in my head and I'll just start like sweating from my scalp. But when it's really, really cold, or I go somewhere like we were in Montana and I wore it in Montana, or go to New York and it's snowing in the winter, you go for Christmas or something, I don't know. But being in Georgia, I'm just south of Atlanta, being in Georgia, it's just very hot all the time and like humid all the time. So we don't have nice winters. So like a double knit beanie is not a necessity, but it is so cute. And I made one for my 2-year-old nephew because, you know, he's a little guy. He needs a lot of warmth. He gets really cold. So I hope he gets a lot of use out of that this winter. That's all I gotta say. Oh no, the yarn is, speaking of New York, I said that because the yarn came from New York. I was there for my 30th birthday. Well, for a 30th birthday trip for myself in November of 2023. This came from Knitty City. I showed you the bag, the little project bag that I got from there in the last episode, and it was just a cute little like sock-sized project bag. So I got that, and I got this yarn. And this was a custom colorway dyed by Malabrigo for Knitty City. And I think it was called Harlem Renaissance. But I am a sucker for like a speckledy, crazy, I don't know a better word, it's just like kind of crazy. And I love souvenir yarn, so whenever we travel, I like to go to a local yarn shop to wherever we are, if there is one, and if time allows, to get a little souvenir skein or two. So this was my New York hat. The next smaller object that I can show you before we get into the full fashion show, I have my pile over there, is a pair of socks, vanilla socks, top down. I started with just like a tiny 1x1 rib, and then moved into a 3x1, 3 knit, 1 purl ribbing texture down the leg. Continued it on the top of the foot, but on the bottom of the foot, I decided to just do plain stockinette in case the ribbing, pearls and stuff didn't feel so good on the bottom of the feet, but I'll show you a whip as well. And I know now that like the ribbing on the bottom of the foot is not, it doesn't feel weird at all, and it's really nice for a snug fitting sock, which is what I was going for with these. They were originally going to be a gift knit, but I didn't finish them in time to gift them, and then I just decided, I think, to make that person something else, and I kept these. And it's a good thing I kept these because I started making these with a 9-inch circular. And it was my first time trying a 9-inch circular for socks. And by the end of this sock, my hands started to cramp really bad, so it was uncomfortable. So I took a little break before casting this one on. I cast it on with a 9-inch circular, and then I got to like here. So it's a top down, so I didn't get very far. And decided I like Magic Loop for socks way better because I knit Continental, and just the motion of trying to knit on those tiny circulars just was not for me. And so I switched to Magic Loop on the same size needle, but Magic Loop, my gauge is a lot looser than on the 9-inch circulars. I did not even think about that, and I finished the sock. And the way I do these is like every 10 rows I'll put locking and an opening stitch marker, so I can just keep track of how many tens of rows I have without having to stop and count and make sure they're the same. So I just did that, and it turned out way bigger than the first sock. So it is just, they're different sizes. And the foot, for some reason, I got the foot just too long in general, so way bigger than this one, but they're both a bit too big for my feet. But I can wear them as house socks, and I will not be unraveling them because they are cute. And I mean, they are socks, so house socks is fine. Every pair of socks I make doesn't have to be perfect and have to go in a pair of tennis shoes or something. So these are house socks, and my husband's feet are a little bit bigger than mine, so they do fit him a little better. So in the colder months, he might be able to wear them with his work boots. We'll see. And they're woolly, and so they'll keep him extra warm. On the sock note, I'll show you, my hair's crazy today. I'll show you a whip really quick, and then we'll go to the other finished objects. This is something that I had not started before my last episode, which was just like a little over a week ago. This is the Andrea Mowry DRK Everyday Socks. I showed you so many whips in my last video, so I really had no business casting something new on, but the day after, or a couple days after, I for some reason was like just craving something new. So I wanted to learn something new and knit something new, and I've had this toe up Andrea Mowry pattern in my library for a bit, and like so many things, I hesitated, like I'm not ready to learn something new right now, so I'll do those later. Well, the day came, and they are exactly what I want in a sock. They're just exactly what I want in a sock. They're perfect. What can I say about these? So they are toe up, so I learned a new technique, I forget what it's called, but I follow Nitty Natty's toe up sock cast on tutorial. Thank you, Nitty Natty. It was very easy to follow, and I just, zipped through that toe, and I decided to do contrasting toe and contrasting. This is like the back of the heel. So this is you step on this part, and then this part is like the back of the heel. And it's called a fleecle heel, I believe. Everybody's either a toe up or a top down, cuff down or toe up sock person. And right now I'm leaning towards a toe up person. I don't hate top down at all. I will still do them, but the fit on these is so nice, and it was just really fun, and I feel like I'm zipping through. So I may also do a contrasting little piece at the top. It's just the same little rib pattern all the way up until you're done. So maybe like an inch or two at the top, I'll just switch colors and have a fun little, my first ever 2-color sock. I've only ever done socks in 1 color. I've never done contrasting toe and heel and cuff before, so this is just fun all around. It scratched that itch of wanting to learn and then wanting to just try something new. So I'm really excited to finish those. Okay, so how this fashion show is gonna work, I think the best way will be for me to just step out of camera, put on, I could just hold them up, but I really wanted to show them to you on me so you could see what they really look like on a person. I guess I could have brought my mannequin in here, but I'm a better model than the mannequin. Okay, so I'm gonna step out of the camera. I may or may not like edit this to cut out the me stepping away parts. I may not though, so I may or may not. So let's get into it. This is going to be interesting. Okay. Also, my bottoms, I'm not trying to coordinate my bottoms with my tops today, so disregard the little biker shorts that you were about to see. They were very fuzzy. Anyways, okay, this is the Tulsa tee by the Crea Bea. She is the Crea Bea on Instagram. I believe she's the Crea Bea on Ravelry. Her name is Rebecca Clow, and she has so many amazing designs in her Ravelry store. This one being one of my favorites. It's the Tulsa tee. I will show you from all angles so you can decide if you want to make one for yourself. I used a yarn that is 85% organic cotton, 15% alpaca. It's called Illimani Sabri Doggy Tippy Tappies. Oh, there she goes. Oh, my kitchen's not too messy for you guys. Okay, Illimani is the yarn brand name, and Sabri is the yarn. It's a fingering weight. Look at those stitches. I picked to do a stripe for my first one because I thought all the people that post their projects on Ravelry, out of all of those, the striped ones really caught my eye. And it's kind of like nautical, like sailory, so I thought it was cute for summer. And what else can I say about this? It's a 24 stitch gauge. I did get gauge. I made a size 4. The drape is so lovely. My object measures almost perfectly to the schematic. The pattern is very easy to follow. The stripes are engaging, so like I finished this I think in a week, which is unheard of for me. I don't usually finish things that fast. I did cast another one of these on. I showed you in the last video, so if you want to see my whips, you can go back, or, you know, it was, I had an itch. It was just a little bit of the start of a second Tulsa, and it's gonna be solid black in the same yarn. And one thing I will note is the neck is pretty wide, and I don't know if that's because of my yarn or because of just the, like, how it's supposed to be. But for my second one, I decided to cast on the neck size of a size 3, and then I increased out here for a size 4. So it'll just be, you know, a little bit more brought in. I don't like a tight neck, but I don't love like a boat neck or a huge neck. And I'm not unhappy with this, but I decided for my second one, I would like a bit smaller of a neck. I don't remember what length she suggests, but this is 11 inches from my armpit and then 1 inch of ribbing. And I think for my black one, I'll probably do the same length because it's just like perfect to wear with shorts or jeans, you know. I could do a little French tuck. but I think I'll do a bit more ribbing. I like a taller rib. And so that means maybe I'll do a bit more ribbing on my, you know, neckband and arms because I like the ribbing to be the same. Okay, that's it. This is my Tulsa tee. Okay, this is, I love this. This is the Alpine Bloom by Caitlin Hunter. I don't know what's going on here with this ribbing, but I may have to go back and fix that because it's like flipping up. But this was my first ever stranded color work, and I'm obsessed. I used Hobby Lobby yarn for the main color. I think it's called Ideal, like I-D-Y-L. It's discontinued. It's magenta. I needed one more skein, and so I had to like go look at eBay for it, and I found it and I got it, but I had enough to do the garment, and then I decided to do sweater surgery. And you might be able to see right here, I'm kind of far away, but when I go and rewatch this and edit it, I'll be like, Heather, that's obvious. What do you mean they might can see? I needed room for my bust. I could have probably like made a bigger size and that would have fixed it, but it was too late for that. And so I decided I needed bust darts. And so I did surgery. I unraveled from here and separated the top from the bottom, added bust darts for the first time ever with the new skein of yarn that I had to order. That's why I had to order it. And it fixed the problem of the neck riding up. That was the problem. So it was like, it was up here, it was, you know, I don't know, it was riding up a lot. So I was like, well, maybe I can do some sweater surgery, fix this so that I can wear it, because I really loved this top. I wore it to, it was either Father's Day or my dad's birthday, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, your top is so nice. And I was like, thanks, I made it. And they were like, no way, how did you do that? And so I got to show them like the inside of where I carried the yarn and did the color work, and their minds were blown. So it was just family, so it was really nice to just be like doted on a bit. The sleeves I'm noticing are kind of puffed out. When I separated the top from the bottom, that included the sleeves, and so it's a circular top-down yoke. Hi, Finn. That's Finn. So when I picked the stitches back up to like do the little bit of sleeve here, maybe I just had like a tighter gauge than before, or maybe it's where I folded it to block it. So I may have to revisit the sleeves and the flippy hem, but overall, I love this pattern. Sorry for the tippy tappies. I love this pattern. I do want to make another one using different yarn. Oh, my contrast color is from, oh my gosh, Firebird Yarns in San Francisco. So when I was in San Francisco a couple years ago, I went to Firebird Yarns to make a Firebird fade. I feel like it's so awkward to just be, here I could sit. I went to Firebird Yarns to get them to help me make a Firebird fade, which if you don't follow them on Instagram, go look at their Instagram, because they do these fun fades of like all different, you know, hand-dyed companies' yarns, and they'll help you coordinate your colors. So they did that for me, and I ended up not making a faded project, but I've used the different yarns in different projects, and this is one of them. It's like a rainbow, variegated, speckly, and I'm obsessed. It's a perfect pop against this magenta. The collar is so cute and lacy. There is an option to do that same pattern on the sleeves, and I just chose not to because, I don't know, I like a plain rib on my sleeve anyway, and I was kind of like ready to finish this. I don't regret not doing this on here at all, because this matches this, and if I did this here, this would be the only regular ribbing, And I just like that there's more of this plain ribbing, and this is the only special one. I don't know why my thought process is the way it is, but it is. I also cast on for a size bigger neck because the other finished projects on Ravelry, like everybody's neck kind of looked really tight, and so I was worried about a really tight neck, and so I made a bit bigger of a neck. I'm very happy. And that's it for that. This top is the first Magna Flora that I ever made. I'm gonna take a sip of water. I will let you look at me while I drink my water. I started shaking because it was flowy. I wasn't trying to shake my butt at you, I'm sorry. Okay, this is the Magna Flora by Elisa Hertzel. It's on Ravelry. I will link it below, of course. And if you watched my first episode, you saw my purple Magna Flora, which is my second one that I made. This yarn is from Hobby Lobby again. It's discontinued. The magenta one also is discontinued. It's tweedy. I think it has some cotton and acrylic, maybe some wool. But you see the tweedy rainbow bits? I was obsessed. I had to find something to use this yarn in immediately because it was sitting in my stash and I was like, this has to be something. It's very flowy. This is a size 5. My purple one is a size 3, so it's much more snug. That one's more cropped. This one is not as cropped, and I love them both. The sleeves are, you know, barely anything. I think maybe 2 rows of sleeve. Well, probably more than that, but you know, I didn't have to like do a lot of sleeve because it's a top-down circular yoke t-shirt. Large gauge. I think the gauge is like 15 stitches. And so it worked up really fast. And it was very engaging. And if you don't like your bra showing, because it's so kind of holy, definitely put on, you know, a colorful tank top or a tan tank top or a black tank top. It'll just make those holes pop. So I think that would look great if you don't want to, you know, show your bra. But either way, I recommend. 10 out of 10. So this is the Give 2 by Andrea Mowry. So it's like the man version of her Gib sweater. I don't know the differences between the two because I did not buy the Gib. I just bought the Gib 2 because I was specifically looking for a sweater for my husband, and I gave him some options. He picked this one, and he just loved how hers looked so much, and he's like, I want the yarn to be just like that. But he also didn't want me to like spend $200 on yarn for him a sweater. So I got on Knit Picks and picked out Wool of the Andes worsted tweed. So this is his sweater, but I could definitely wear it, and I definitely have. I finished it, I think, in January of this year, so he didn't get a lot of time to wear it because it, you know, like I said, in Georgia, it just doesn't get that cold, and it doesn't really stay that cold for many months. So I hope he gets a lot more wear out of it this year, later this year. I'll come closer so you can see the texture. It's a fun knit purl pattern. Easy, engaging, really nice texture. The raglan is a cable, has a cable detail. And at the Knit Picks worsted tweed, it's a little bit itchy. It's not super wash. It doesn't have as many plies maybe as the yarn that she used, or maybe the yarns that she would suggest to use. So the cable doesn't pop as much as I would like, but that's okay. One thing that I had to fix when I was finished with it was the neckline. It was kind of too open for his liking, and so because it's a top-down pattern, I didn't know if I could successfully do sweater surgery or not, but I tried it anyway, and I think it turned out great. You probably can't even tell that I tried to do sweater surgery. Only I can. So I picked out the cast-on edge and put all the live stitches on a needle, and I added fabric, but I also put a few decreases in places that you can't really tell so that it would like kind of cinch in. So I didn't want to add too much length. My goal was just to like cinch it in, and he loves it. I love it. I think it turned out great. I would recommend, like, even if it's a top down and you think maybe you can't like get a good look out of picking up the stitches, because they will be just a little bit off, do it, try it. You may be so surprised by how well it turns out. You can kind of tell that it's like off a little bit lining up. They don't line up perfectly, but that's it. That's the Gib 2. And boy, oops, do I have some things to say about this one. It is not supposed to be as grandpa cardigan style as mine turned out, and that is not a fault of the pattern or the designer. It is entirely because this is the first garment that I ever made. So I was brand new, very ambitious, very excited to get into it. So I just like didn't know everything that I know now. Like, this yarn is Emma's Yarn DK. It's a superwash yarn, and Lily Kate recommends a non-superwash yarn. Even though I got gauge, it still turned out way bigger than I wanted it to. And the pattern is an oversized, like a slightly oversized fit, but like, I don't know, it turned out pretty big. The button band, when I did it the first time, I did it on a way too small of a needle, so it like was cinched up like it was so cinched up. So I had to undo it, the button band. So I had to rip it out, use a slightly larger needle, and it relaxed. It's still a little bit up, but that's okay. I'll step closer so you can see the texture. I love the yarn. I love speckles. I always have. So I'm very happy with how the yarn looks. The sleeves, you might see they look a bit odd. They were way too long, so I guess I didn't check my row gauge as well as I should have. Like, who hasn't made that mistake? But the sleeves were so long, and I thought that if I ripped them back and tried to re-knit them, I just never would. And I didn't want that. So I did sweater surgery. I'm no stranger to sweater surgery around here. I ended up like cutting into it, taking out a huge chunk, and then reattaching. So I just like took out a huge chunk. And I decreased a little bit when I picked up the stitches here, but it was like a very rapid decrease, not the recommended decrease. So yeah, that's my fault. I don't wear it a lot. It's very cozy. I think I'll probably wear it more like around the house in the winter. We keep our house cold, so maybe I could get away with that. Oh, short rows too. I didn't know how to do short rows, and so my short rows, I'll take it off and show you. So there's like little holes. They're not bad, but you can definitely see some holes in there, especially like right there. So, a very big first project, and I am still proud of it. I'll never get rid of it. I'll never unravel it. Will I wear it a lot? I don't know, but I'll have it. Oh yeah, the buttons are from Etsy. They are just mother of pearl blue. They go so well with the colors. So that is my calm down cardigan. Okay, one more garment and then we're done. This is the Cottage Cardigan by Jack Cieslak. Jack has a Ravelry store and several beautiful patterns. They are also on Instagram as Jack Cieslak. And I sought this pattern out because I specifically wanted a lightweight cardigan to throw on, like when there's a little tiny nip in the air in the spring, or my air conditioner is on 68 and I'm just a little cold in my office during the workday. So this is just perfect. So I love this. I have nothing but good things to say about it. I made a size 4. I used Pearl Soho linen quill, which is linen and alpaca. It might have cotton in there. It's soft, it's airy, it's a thin material. I'll come closer so you can see how big of a gauge. So it's a fingering weight yarn with a very large gauge. I think my gauge was 22. Is that right? That doesn't seem that loose of a gauge, but I think it was 22 stitches. The buttons are from Etsy and I will link this shop. They were really great with customer service, so I recommend ordering from this shop for sure. Okay, well, that concludes the Finished Object Fashion Show. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great weekend here in the States. It's the 4th of July, so be safe out there. Love on your fur babies if they don't like fireworks. Mine hate fireworks, so we will be snuggling up on the couch or in the bed, watching movies really loud to try to drown out the boom booms, and being cozy. We just have a cozy little weekend, no plans. That's it, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for joining me for my Finished Object Fashion Show, and I'll see you next time. Bye.